All right, so we are live now. Good evening, students. Welcome to session again. I hope you all are doing great. Let us just switch to live chat. Hello, all. Interesting. So we have a couple of people joined in, and thank you so much for joining the session. Let us again try to understand the agenda little quickly. My screen is being shared, right? Okay. Let us bring my screen up. Okay, cool. Now we'll just go back to one of our sheet just to note down the agenda. Okay, so this is the sheet that I've created for you. I promise that you people will be getting notes by the end of the session, and I have compiled and collaborated all these notes for you. So go ahead and try to take the best advantage of it. Let me just try to add some boundaries on it, right? Okay. Let us discuss today's agenda. What we're trying to do is so today we will see some advanced features, options that Excel provides or Google Sheets provide is that we can import data from other sheets, okay, in same spreadsheet. So I'll talk about this. Import data from other spreadsheets. Of course you will need permission to do that. If you have permission to open both the spreadsheets well enough, we will talk about those parts. We'll talk about security aspects, we'll talk about comments, okay, how we can do it. We'll see some advanced and more you can say techniques through which you can get better results, and you can optimize more when it comes to efficiency of doing certain tasks. We will see what is array formula for an example, okay. So once that is done, we will also look at the Google app scripts. What does it mean and what is the use of it? We'll create some custom scripts. We'll try to see how we can do it and how we can proceed with it, right? So that's the agenda. That's the part of the curriculum that we are supposed to cover today. Let us proceed with it. Always remember that Google Sheets are stored in your drives. Of course, they are linked through the drive, and that's how you access them. That's the place from where you access them. So once we create a new sheet, Google Sheet, and it will open up. By now, we have covered all the basics from day one, that how do we name a spreadsheet, right? So for example, we name it LUYT demo, okay. That's the name of the sheet that we will say. Let's upgrade YouTube demo sheet. We will try to create some dummy columns, okay. ID, uh, name, score, things like that, okay. Or maybe like age and salary, things like that, okay. Let us even mask name to things like uh, job title and things like that, okay. 1 2 3, so we have different candidates. 1 2 3 4 5 candidates with us. Their job title is developer, we have marketing, we have sales, we have, let's call it, software developer, marketing, sales. Then we have again one software developer, and then we have again someone from sales coming in, okay. So let us say we have ages in 25, ages in 28, we have marketing in 27, we have sales in 26, we have sales in 20 or 32, okay. The salaries will be, let us mention this salaries are in um, say lakhs, okay. So per annum, what does this mean is that packages in lakhs per annum. So a software developer could, or anywhere around like, tens, 100,000, 10,000 lakh, 10 lakh, 12 lakh package. Okay. Let us for now just go ahead and marketing maybe in the same package. Sales 26. Let the package be unit 10, 100,000, 10,000 lakh, because salespeople on mostly in you can say incentives, right? That's the place where salespeople derive money from. Software at the age of 28. Let's make it unit 10, 100,000, 10,000 lakh, 10 lakh, 18 lakh, and then sales. Of course, the base package could be anywhere around like unit 10s, 100,000, 10,000 lakh, 10 lakh. Okay. So this is the salary of different people, and like this is the data that we have. Create something random data. Income data for, let's say, age group 20 to 30. Okay. And let's name the sheet a little more correctly. Say this data comes from the company LU, okay, and they are partnered with, say, some another company, say YouTube, okay, and income data 2030, age 2030. So this is the name that you have given. Let's call it income sheet. Income sheet, okay, that works, right? So this is a few of the data that we have. Let us create one more spreadsheet right over here. Let us again call it ID. Okay, let's there be a salary column. Okay, and let there be a company name. So this is again some data that we have. Okay, let us swap column C with column B. Okay, control X, control V, control X, control V, control X, control V. All right. Hello, students. We have Rohit, we have Ritesh. Hello to all of you. I hope you all are interested and trying to make the best of these sessions, right? Again, so the salaries we will. So what we will do is we will try to take company name right over here. So okay, let the company name be uh, any IT company, could be EY. Okay, then say Genpact. Then there could be a marketing company, could be any of it. Say Donut is one company if we take it. Okay, just trying to give some random names. Again, then your sales company, we have uh, you can call it anything. Let's call it Flipkart. Okay. Then let's call it Zomato, and then let's call it, say, Fractal for an example. Okay, now different companies that are there. So suppose we want the IDs to be coming from another sheet, right? Because we want to depend over there. Let this be the company sheet. So this is where we will try to understand how we can import data from another sheet, okay, which is an income sheet. See, one way is you can just drag this, copy it, and paste it over here. Okay, so the point is, suppose if it is a static data, if it doesn't change, it will not hurt. Okay, let us say if I also copy say salary like this, okay, and I just paste it over here, it won't hurt until and unless the data is changing. Suppose now tomorrow this data is to be changed to 6 lakhs, and what we see is that that defect is not being captured on the other sheet, right? Because it was just you can say there was no pointers, there was no referencing, right? This data has been copied and there is no referencing or links left from the origin. The origins now are different for both these data points in the computer's memory, right? Like this salary is not at all related to the salary in this column, right? Okay, so to keep that, what we will do is we will try to understand how we can uh, intake the input from other sheets, right? Let's try to do that. So in order to do it, I'll just simply delete it. The best way to do it in Google Sheets is you do equal to. You'll have to type in the sheet name, right? So sheet name here is income, right? INCOME. That's the sheet name with an exclamation mark in front of it. And then we will have to specify which column are you interested in. Say C2, okay? As soon as I type the column name, you see this thing becomes orange in color. What does it mean is that now Google Sheet has recognized the source and from where to take it. But let us be very sure it is actually D2. Okay, so I'll just have to go there. Okay, intersecond age, I'll just do it D2, and the salary comes in, right? Now the autofill is suggesting us that do you want to do this? Of course we want to do that. We can just use it. Or the other way is, suppose if we do not do autofill, okay, and we want to drag it down, you can also try to do that. Okay, still get the same thing. But suppose if we want to even have some more variations into it, right? uh, let us say I'll add some more things into here. Okay, so suppose that let me just delete this. I only want to reflect salaries of people who are less than 30 in their age group, right? That's what like I want to do. So in such cases we can use filter, right? Filter can also help us filter out the data that we are onboarding. So suppose filter, I'll have to use equal to first filter. What I have to filter is I'll have to use a sheet name from income. I have to specify the column from where I want to import, right? So suppose if I want to import from D2 till all the D column, like the entire D column I want to import. But so this is the range from where I want to import. But suppose if I want to add a filter into it, like what should be the condition on the basis of which I will import is that I'll just simply use income at C2 till C. We can simply say has to be greater than has to be less than 30. And once I add this filter, you will see that I got all the salaries of people apart from this fifth ID from Factal. Because if you go and carefully check, this fifth person is of age group 32, right? So that's the point, that we didn't get the salary of the person who is of the age group 32, right? ID is 5, you can check. Interesting, isn't it? So now the best part is, for example, suppose tomorrow I realize that, oh, I made a mistake. This person is not of the age of 32. This person belongs to the age of 29. And if I hit enter, okay, I correct it. You see, now I got the salary of that person automatically in my another sheet. This is automation, right? Like this is the better way. If I had copied the data manually, and now if there was any change in the previous sheet, those changes would have never been reflected here, and it was completely a manual, laborious task, tedious task, a mundane task to go ahead and rectify those issues, go ahead and fix the places where the new edits are supposed to happen now, right? So that's really an interesting way. That's really a way which can help you work smart and make sure that your sheets are more robust and up to date and can handle real time updates, right? That's the best usage of how we can import data from different sheets, right? So now let us go ahead and let us try to close this sheet. uh, Also, talking about your notes that you are supposed to take, you will see that this link is pinned, right? And using this link you will be able to find the notes. This notes should be available in the link somewhere, right? So do not worry, you will always be able to get those notes. So I'll just quickly bring this on my screen. If you see this Notion website, the all-in-one document, right? This all-in-one document is attached, right? It is available in the chats everywhere. You can see all-in-one document is the latest comment, and it is also pinned. It is always there, right? You will also be able to find it in the description box. So when you go over there, this is the doc link, and once you click on the doc link, it will open up this. Okay, sorry, just a second. If you click on this resource link, yeah, this resource link will open up the modules, the sub modules, and the resources to study from, right? All right, so that's something really interesting that you guys can carry with you. Let me just delete this sheet too. Now we are done with it. Okay, so this should be helpful. Suppose if you want to learn anything, suppose if you want to learn about date time, you can just refer to this link. This study material will help you a lot with different date times and how you can handle them and the syntax to use it in sheets. Okay, so each link has been curated for you so that you get the best of the best from the sessions, right? Okay, let's move ahead. Now let us go back. Let me try to just reload this site. So this is YT. Let's upgrade YouTube income data age 20 to 30. Okay, now suppose I want to create another spreadsheet. YT, let's call it let's upgrade YouTube demo sheet. Okay, something like that. Let us say now I need to import data from the other sheets now. All right. All right. So in order to do that, we have one more interesting function which can do it. It is known as import range function. And how does it work? Let us look into it. Suppose I want to use this sheet, right? Where it is. Let's upgrade YouTube live session day one. No, not day one. This sheet. All right. So what I will have to do is I'll have to go and share with others. Anyone with the link is editor. I'll have to edit the permissions. We'll talk about permissions. Don't worry. We'll talk about everything later on. For now, suppose you have to import the data from somewhere. What I will do is I'll just simply use import range function. All right. So once I'm into the input range function, the first thing that this function will take is the URL. So we'll have to just paste that URL which I just copied. Okay. How do I copy that URL? I go to file, share with others, and copy link. Okay. There are various ways to share it. I'll talk about it. Now, once it is done, I'll have to mention the sheets from which I want the data. I want the data from income sheet, and so I want IDs. So I'll say the complete A column. I want that. Okay, and I'll just close this. Once I hit enter, it says loading, and you see automatically the data is loaded. And this data is now coming from another spreadsheet, which is not a part of this spreadsheet at all, right? So this is also an interesting way through which you can keep your sheets updated. For example, suppose tomorrow if I add one more ID over here, say 6, this person belongs to marketing, age group is 25, and salary is around 8 lakhs. Okay, so you will see that we go over here in real time, that data is added over here, right? So that's really interesting how we can go ahead and try to keep the spreadsheets connected. Wherever there's a link, we need not just manually copy paste things. We can smartly keep the sheets updated with links everywhere. Okay, so that's really interesting. I think you all found it really cool way to use spreadsheets and have data combined from different places. We can import data from various places, right? Yeah, so even if, for example, if I click on file, if I click on import, so I can import data from different drives. Okay, wherever I want, I can just take the data from there. I can import data even from the course, the things shared with me. Okay, for example, if I want to import some data from here, say course coverage. If I use any, so this is an Excel sheet, right? Dot xlsx. Okay, this is an Excel sheet. Where do you want to import it? Insert into a new sheet, replace this current spreadsheet, create new spreadsheet, or I'll say import into a new sheet. Okay, do you also want to import the theme or not? I'll say okay, import the theme. When I import it, you will be able to see that right in this, the other sheet is available over here, right? So I'll just delete this sheet for now. But I think this gives you a sense that how we can import data from various places, right? Again, I'll go to the import. uh, there's a recent tab through which all the recent activities are available over here. Apart from that, we can also upload files manually. Suppose if you have some Excel sheet, or if you have downloaded some CSV sheet, TSV sheet, like comma separated value sheets, maybe some another variations through which you want to load the data, you can also drag drop those things over here, right? So suppose you have a SQL dump, you are using some database, and you exported the DB into some CSV file, and now you want to import it on Excel. That's also possible, right? So you can just go ahead and do those things. Yes, so Ritesh is asking if can we share all the data by link. Yes, of course, that also possible. You can share all the data with the link wherever, however you want to do it, right? So that's also possible whenever you want it. I just said that in the formula I changed that not only column A, I want till column D, and if you see the data is imported till column D. Okay, so this can be done on the complete sheet wherever you want. You can import everything from the sheet, or if you want limited things, you can also do it. Or it need any range? Yeah, you can also specify the range. Ritesh, even range will work. You can specify how much data do you want from the other sheet, which columns do you want, what range do you want, what rows do you want. Everything works in that thing, right? Yeah. So I hope that clears your doubt of can we just share all the data by link. Yes, we can. Okay, or we can also use range, not a problem. Okay, now the next thing is that sometimes we also use Google Forms, right? Let me just quickly try to create one Google form. So I'm signed in using this account. I'll create a blank form. So this is a survey form to rate the Google Sheet 24 April live classes. Okay, so let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have a multiple choice question, and this is the form that we have created. Now let us send it. Subject, I wanted to fill this form, include form email. No worries, we can just copy this link, shorten the URL, copy. Okay, all right. So I'll just make sure that this uh, form reaches out to you. Let us just go ahead and do that. I'll put it in the chat. I'll also ask the admin to quickly pin it for you, this Google Forms. So if you can just quickly go over there, I'll just try to fill one for myself. So if you see, the form has been shared by the admins. You can just go there and rate the form and just submit it. All right, so we have received one input. If I see, yep, so one response has been received. Let us see, students, if you can just quickly go ahead and fill this form for us. I'll give you some time. So the form is in the chat. You can find it in the chat. Just go ahead and use that form. Just one single question, because I want to demonstrate how we can use even Google Forms to the spreadsheets. Okay. All right. So let us go ahead and try to populate one of the sheet. I'll create one new Google Sheet. Let me call it YT Live Responses. Okay. So suppose I want to link Google Forms to this sheet, and I want to make sure that all the responses which are coming in are being delivered to this sheet directly. Okay. The form is untitled for now, and now let us go ahead. All right, we have received enough of the responses. Good. Now let us understand how do we do it, right? So when you as an admin go to this form, like if you are the owner of this form, you will be able to see all these things, right? So if you are not the owner of this form, so if you're not the owner, you will be able to see something like this, right? Let me just copy it. You'll be just able to see this form, right? Nothing else. But as an owner of this form, I'll be able to see questions, responses, and settings, right? So once I go on responses, you see there's these three dots right next to link to sheets. So if I click on these three dots, there are multiple ways to get this Google Forms, right? One is that we can get email notifications for any new responses. If at all someone is submitting something, we can get the responses. All right, I can see people are filling in chat that they've submitted response. Thank you so much, people, for being helpful. Next is submit destinations for responses or select destination. So of course that's something where we can link Google Sheets. We can download the response even as a CSV file, or we can print it however we want it. So if I select destination for responses, this is where it will ask me that do you want to create a new spreadsheet from start, or do you want to link one existing one? So creating a new one is no rocket math. Just put the name and it will be created. Selecting is also not at all a big deal. Only thing is you'll have to select, and in order to select you'll have to make sure that you get it correctly. If you're not able to find it in recent, you'll have to go to your My Drive and you will be able to locate it. You should make sure that you're able to locate it correctly in the My Drive, right? So currently in recent I have this sheet, I want to use it and I want to insert this data. Linking to spreadsheet is linked. Okay, and you can view it in sheets and it will be the same sheet that we have right over here. Okay, let me reload this. Okay, just a second, let me check where this sheet go. All right, I think there's some issue, but of course this is the YT live responses sheet is linked. Oh, sorry, it came in a different sheet. All right, so we have a different sheet right over here, right? Form responses. I can also just rename this responses. Okay, fair enough. I'll delete this sheet for now. So we have different timestamps on which this task was done. Interestingly, the timestamp is of 1:30 p.m. Must be of different time zone, but we got the details right over here, right? Okay, so you can check. You can also now, since you have knowledge of different variations and how you can use the spreadsheet, you can try to create filters, right? Like how many people voted 5 star, how many people voted 4 star, how many rated 3 star. All those filters can be created and you can just simply do this, right? So that's really interesting, people, how you can use your capacity and the knowledge that you have gained in this sessions to do such things, right? So again, this covers your scope of importing data from all sort of places, right? Maybe Google Form, could be from different sheets, could be from different spreadsheets, could be from different places, manual uploads, other places, right? Everything is, this is how Google Sheets can import data. All right. So now let us move to more interesting functions, some more advanced functionalities that you can do. Let us just try to load up one of the Google Sheet. Say this one. Hmm, this is a little too large data. I'll just go ahead and okay, I think we can use this, or I'll just create one more spreadsheet. So for example, we have different sheets coming in, like say north, south, west, and east. These are our products. Say dark chocolate, milk chocolate. These are different products that we have. Roasted almond, dark chocolate, caramel, dark chocolate, and extra dark chocolate. Okay, these are different variations that we have for them. And let's say that we have sales data. So I'll just quickly go ahead, make it bold, fill in some color to it, format this painting and paste it. Control Z, format painter and paste it right over here, right? Okay, just add some depth to the table. Fine. Okay, all right. So now once we have this table created, we can just fill in the data right over here, right? For example, this is 40, 50, 50, 30. Okay, we have 20, 30, 60, 10. We have 40, 50, 40, 40. We have 10, 10, 10, 10. We have 70, 80, 40, 90. Okay. So ideally, now as a data analyst, if I ask you that I want to find the sum of product wise, I want to find product wise sum of how much product are we selling, right? So the ideal way to do it is I'll do sum of B2 to E2, and I'll then just simply drag it down to all these options, right? So these are sales done product wise. Okay, I'll say product wise sales right over here. Okay, and I'll say region wise sales is right over here. This would be sum of B2 to B6. That's fine, and we'll just use it right over here. Okay, and once we have it, let me just put it in some another color so that things are a little more appealing. So this would be again, we have to take the grand total. So it has to be sum of this, which is 780, 780, right? So that's how we get the total now. Okay. So now the idea is that uh, suppose that these things what we have done right now, these are again some hard codings, right? When we say hard coding, what does it mean is that uh, even if I change some values, this sum will change, but it will not work for new additions or things that I add more into this table, right? If I want to expand this table. And this type of calculations are still fair enough and simple and easy to use when the data is limited, right? So this data is barely like what, six different products, or could be like four different columns to look into. So it is very easy. Like such calculations can also happen in mind, right? You can just add 40, 50, 50. That's 140, and plus 30 is 170, right? You don't even need Excel for such things. What we're talking about is large data, right? For an example, if you look at all of these cells, we have added some function right over here. One more sum function. Okay, just let me do Control Z. One more sum function over here. One more sum function over here. So if you see, there are like five different functions applied, right? And five different functions applied over here, and then one more. Like there are so many different functions being applied over here. Okay, you can just count the number of the cells if you want, right? It is again interestingly five and more than 10 functions being applied right around this case, right? So thing is that this is not the ideal way to do it when it comes to large data. Why is that so? Because that suppose if we have thousands of rows, thousands of 10,000 rows, 12,000 rows, 1 lakh rows, in that cases uh, it will be really tiresome to drag this till end of the column. You'll just simply be using the scroll bar and trying to scroll till the end of this, and somewhere then try to add this formula, right? And even if by point you end up using 357th row, again this sheet will stop updating itself, right? Because at this end you will again have to drag it one more point. Suppose tomorrow I want to add one more thing, I'll just go ahead and keep on dragging it, right? So until and unless manually I'm dragging such things, I'm not keeping it balanced. What do you mean by that? Suppose tomorrow if we get one more column over here, which is say we have fruit and nut chocolate, we get sales like 20, 30, 40, 50. You see the total is not updating. Ideally the total should be now, if you go and see some, 920 is the correct answer, right? But we are not getting 920 in the response. So for such things we can use array formula. For example, if I go over here and I say I want to use a array formula, the best thing is just one formula is needed for the entire sheet and things are done, right? So for example, in this array formula, I want to use columns from B2, like I'll go till B6. Let me just delete this part. Let me copy this, copy and delete row. Okay, I'll go ahead here and go for this formula. Also, I want to add. I'll go till, okay, escape. This should be till B6. Okay, I'll go till B6. Along with it, I want to add say plus. My column is from C2 to C6. So C2 to C6. Okay, you just have to specify it once, and even if you keep on increasing, like the seventh row, eighth row, this formula should not be updated. Okay, no update needed. This formula will work. D2 till D6. Suppose if this is the range that I want, and plus E2 to E6 is something that I want, right? If I hit enter, you see this array formula now works for me in the same way. Like I created a manual formula, sum of B2 till B11. This is array formula, okay? And pay a very close attention, students, to the fact that I'm trying to relate over here. That if as soon as I click on cell number F2, you'll be able to see in the formula bar, the formula is equal to sum B2 to E2. If I click on cell G2, this is the formula that we have applied over here, right? Now when I proceed, when I go to cell number F3, there is this normal formula. But when magic happens when I go to G3, there is no formula. G4 no formula, G5 no formula, nowhere. You won't find a formula anywhere, right? In fact, if you want to use this as an aggregator, suppose if you want the total sum, let us copy this formula. Let us paste it over here, and let us wrap these things in sum. Okay, so we'll say sum of these things, which is 780. Now let me put it in some different color so that you will know that this comes from the array function, or something like this. And now see, as soon as I insert one row above, I say fruit and nut chocolate 20, 30, 40, 50. You see, our older technique of maintaining the sheet, which is in this gray color, is now still pointing to 780, right? Which is not correct. And if you see the array formula, it manages to do that. Even as soon as I add one more row, it even gives the output of that as 140, right? So cool enough, right? These are some really advanced techniques and some smart ways to use Excel more efficiently, right? So these are few interesting things that you should always note and keep in mind. I'll make sure that you remember this, and even if you go in the notes, if you let me just go to the notes once again, all in one document. If I go to the resource link, array formula. What is array formula in Google Sheets? This is the answer right over here. How does Google Sheet array solve problems? Use case explained, syntax mentioned. Okay, you want to work on a range, you want to work on some mathematical operations. Different examples are showcased over here, right? You will be able to see these examples, be able to try to replicate them, copy them, practice from here. Okay, and array formula with different Google Sheet functions like count if, count, sum is, if is, else, text join, join, concatenate. All of them will be explained over here, right? And you will be able to learn how to do it, right? So you can see this is the if function, this is equal to if, and things like that. Sum if plus array formula in Google Sheets, sum if else formula in Google Sheets, and these are a few interesting things to look into it, right? Okay, so just give me a students, not even a minute. All right, cool. So this is something that you can look into, how we look up an array formula can be combined. So a lot of learning that I have put up in this 3 days of bootcamp and the resource materials, right? Moving ahead, let's come back. Now let us understand that how do we make sure that our Google Sheets are secure enough, right? So when you go on file and when you click on share, you will see share with others. This is where the complete security measure comes into picture, right? You can manage who has general access and who are the people with the access, right? So for example, if you've created this sheet, you will by default be the owner, right? So if you are the owner, then there are a few things that you can change over here, right? For example, if I want to add someone, suppose if I want to add say one of my colleague, okay, so once you click on the colleague, so ideally what you can do is your Google contacts will be linked over here, right? Your Google space workspace will be linked over here. People you mostly interact with, they will be available over here, right? So suppose if I want to add some people which are not even available over here, say for example, if I do uh, why is my click not working anymore? Okay, suppose if I can just simply type in the email ID, the person will be available, right? So once the person is available, what we'll have to do is, next thing is, what type of permission do you want to give this person? Is this person a viewer? So what is a viewer is that this person can only see the content of the sheet. They cannot edit it, modify it, or delete it, right? Obviously they can copy the data and use it wherever they want, but they will never be able to modify your sheet which exists with you, right? Apart from that, the next variation of security is commenter. What does this mean is that if you want to give this person the access of commenter, that person will be able to comment on your sheet. What does this mean is that uh, suppose if I have a commenter access, I'll be able to leave comments on different cells, right? I can write in some notes, I can write some suggestions, I can put in whatever text I want and leave it as a comment for others to view. Okay. Third is the editor access. So editor access is someone who can delete the data from your sheet, modify the data from your sheet. Okay, create, read, update, delete. All the access is available with the editor, right? So depending upon the access that you want to give to the person, you can click. You can also specify message which will go as a notification. I am granting you access to add new products in this sheet. Okay, or you can make it more professional, obviously, and in such manner you can copy this link and send this person will be notified. If I copy this link and I send it, you will be able to see. Just a second. Okay, so next is that if we paste this data right over here, like this is the link to it, and you can just go through it. I'll be able to send this link to the person, maybe through mail or however you want to do it. But this is how you can grant access to different things, right? Now, next important thing to know is that Google has a lot of built-in functions that we saw by now, right? Could be some average, count A, okay, count if, things like that, filter, copy things, and so much more, array formula, right? But in fact, like there are so many formulas that many of them are not even useful to all the people, right? We might not even use up ending all the formulas that Google can provide us. Still, there is a huge scope where of formulas which we feel should have existed, or scope of things that we want to do with Google Sheets, but is not by default available as a default option, right? In such cases, Google has provided us Google App Script, okay, which can help us do a lot. In fact, like integrate the sheet with our backend, integrate the sheet with some scripts. We can automate the Google Sheet to populate with data in real time. Okay, we can make sure that we can write a script which will run on, say, every minute, every hour, and in real time keep on updating our real time sheet. Okay, so that is one point that you can look into. So Google Spreadsheet App Script tutorial is something that you can follow, and through it you will be able to understand that, okay, that this is a really interesting feature through which I can build some cool things, right? So this uses by default, this Google Sheet uses JavaScript by default, okay, and you will be writing scripts in the basic scripting language of JavaScript, right? So I'll help you design one. I'll help you understand how to use it. So for example, I'll create one you can say dummy sheet. Okay, let me just create one new sheet. So we can automate the sheets with calendars, we can automate the sheet, we can connect it with our databases, a SQL, NoSQL, wherever we want it. We can write some automation tasks. We can trigger the sheet with some things, custom functions, custom formulas, whatever you want, we can do it, right? So of course that's the possibility. So in order to achieve this, what we will do is, let's create one simple my first script sheet. Okay, I'll create it. What you have to do is, you'll have to go on the extension in the top which is available. Once you click on the extension on the tops, you will be able to see that this is the option known as Google Apps Script. When I click on it, you'll be able to see that you will land on a completely new tab, right? So this is the app script tab where just like VBS, which is in the Excel sheet, Visual Basics in the Excel sheet, Google has this variation known as app scripts, right? So you will be able to reach here, okay, and you will be able to type your new scripts. Let me. So all the scripts which you write are known as project titles, right? So I'll write this my first script, okay, my first script as a title. So by default, there's a function block created by Google. That's to explain you that this is a JavaScript that we are trying to write. So we can just simply go ahead and delete this and try to write our own function, right? So we'll create a simple function. You need to understand JavaScript in order to achieve this, right? Without understanding of JavaScript, you cannot write app scripts. But don't worry, the functions that I'm trying to teach you are general, generic. They will not require any programming language expertise, right? Normal English, if you understand, this is more than enough to understand what I'm trying to do. I'm creating a function. So as you know, I'm creating a custom function, right? I'll name the function as write hello world. Okay. What does this mean is that this function is supposed to write something. That's the function name that I have created, and this is the syntax of the programming language. What is the syntax? So if you want to define a function in JavaScript, you have to write the keyword function space followed by the name of your function, whatever you want to call it. You are free to name whatever you want to write it, right? My function writes hello world, that is a function name. Next is this round open and closing brackets, the parentheses. They are used in programming to mention if this function will need some inputs. My function needs no input, hence empty round brackets. The next part is the opening and closing of the curly braces, which mentions whatever I write inside this curly braces is part of this function. Okay, that is the general syntax of this programming language, JavaScript, our scripting language. Okay, if we want to create a variable which will hold some values, we can create it using var. This is the by default type to create a variable, right? I want to create a greeting. Okay, so I'll just go here and create a variable by the name of greeting. How we wrote function followed by the function name, similarly the syntax is write variable followed by the variable name. I want to create a variable by the name of greeting in which I will hold hello world. Okay, now when I add this, semicolon is needed in each line to end the line. Okay, next is I'll load a variable and I will load a Google Sheet in it, right? Let us call it sheet as a variable name. It could be anything, variable names or function names are on us, whatever you want to write it, right? I'll use spreadsheet, okay, spreadsheet app. This is the service name that we will use, which is used to load a Google Sheet in real time. Dot, I'll say get active sheet, okay, or spreadsheet or current cell, whatever you want. I want the entire active sheet, which is like this is a sheet through which we have opened this scripting thing, right? So it will by default get this active sheet, and even if you do log sheet, you'll be able to see what is available in the sheet, right? So what I have to do is I'll now try to do get the first cell where I want to place it. For example, if I want to paste the data in A1, then I will have to mention that in this sheet on A1 paste hello world. Okay. So what I will do it, I'll do sheet dot get, I'll say range, and in the range I'll say I'll just need one single cell. Hence, rather than giving the range, I'll just give the cell value which is A1, and I'll say set value, whatever value do I want to keep. I want to keep the value whatever is in the greeting. Okay, that's what I want to do. Semicolon. Okay, that ends my function. Now you should pay special attention. This code.js is a file. In the left you can see that this is the file name, and it has an orange circle in front of it, right? That circle means that whatever I've written for now is not saved. If I close this tab, if I somehow delete this tab, the data is lost. So first I will have to either click on this symbol, which is like this disk symbol, floppy disk symbol, to save it, or through my keyboard I can press Ctrl S. Both work, and as soon as I click it, the code will be saved and that orange symbol will no more be available. Now once this is done, I can click on run. Once I run this function, you will be able to see the function is performing and the custom function is running in the background. It's executing, still the sheet is empty. The function is trying to run in the real time. And now this say this project requires your permission to access this sheet. I'll have to review this permission. I'll have to grant access that I am the authorized person to do this. Sometimes Google hasn't verified this app. It can come when the security issues are there. But you can click on advanced and still go to my first script, which is unsafe, but we will proceed with it, right? We'll just click on it. And now my first script wants access to your Google account. Okay, like the script that I'm trying to hit, they want to grant or take access to my drives, take access to my files. For now, I am safe enough. I know I am the person who is running the script, so I'll allow access, right? If you allow access, you should be very careful whom you are allowing access to, because if someone who is not the fit person gets access to this drive, can leak your data, right? So the scripts can trigger, and you will have to make sure that you understand which email ID, which script is trying to reach out to you, right? I'll click allow. As soon as the permission is granted, execution started, execution completed, and you see this hello world has been written on my sheet. So this is the idea of how we can use the scripting functions to do a lot of things in real time, right? So that's really interesting. That's how we can write scripts and do a lot of stuff. Let me also try to show you some more features on how we can do different things, right? For example, suppose if I create something like students uh, English grade, okay, and say math grade, okay, control Z. Suppose I'll create students by the name of Ritesh. I'll create by the name of Gaurav. I'll create by the name of Shreya, and many more, right? Like say Derek, Lisa, and so on. Okay, I'll give different grades like A, B, B plus, A, and could be C. Math grade could be C, B, B, B plus, whatever you want to call it, A. Okay, however you want to call it. So these are different gradings that we have given. Okay, this is whatever variation you want. Okay, so suppose we created this sheet. We can also write scripts which can help us read the data from the script. And in fact, trust me, when it comes to writing functions, you can do all the possibilities. You can read, update, modify, delete, do whatever, connect to a database. uh, you can say create new features, new methods, whatnot. Everything is possible when it comes to scripting, right? Whatever a programming can do for you can be in onboarded on your sheets through it, right? All the functionalities. So suppose I want to create a function which will read the data from the sheet and give it to my backend. Okay, so I'll create a function which will say read data from a range. Okay, I'll specify the range, and from that I want to read the data, and I'll open the bracket. So I told you, you need not be a JavaScript expert. Even if you do not know, I'll teach you enough JavaScript so that you understand what we are writing. Again, function is the function syntax and the function name that we are creating. My function takes no things as input, empty brackets, and closing and opening of the function explains the boundaries in which I'm planning to write, right? So I'll create a variable by the name of data, in which I'll load the data whichever I want. So again, spreadsheet app is the method name, or the function name through which I'll take the method of get active. Okay, active thing, and I'll get a range from it, right? I'll do get range, because this time I want only limited data. And what data do I want? So what is my sheet name once again? It is sheet one only. Okay, so I'll mention my sheet name. Okay, that is S capital sheet 1. From here I want all the data starting from A1 till A1 till C6. Okay, so I'll just go here and say A1 till C6, give me this data, and just give me values of it. So get values is the method which will give it to you. So this data is loaded. Okay, so once you have this data, what I will do is I'll just try to print it for you. For now, simply I can just print it, but you can do a lot with this data. Store it some database, update your database with it, okay, and even modify this data and do what not. I'll try to save this file first. Saving project. I'll try to run it. So once I run it, check in the execution log. This is the data that we have captured, right? So this is really interesting, students. Try to pay attention over here. You see how we were able to capture the students English grade and math grade as the column names. First student is Ritesh, his grade is A and C. Second student is Gaurav, the grade is B and B minus. Shreya, B plus and B. Derek, A and B plus. Lisa, C and A. So we were able to get all the data from the sheet into our script, right? In fact, like so we can also modify the sheet however you want it, right? Suppose I just want to modify this you can say data to some other values. So I can also just simply add a function, say student English grade, math grade, Eric, Lisa, Faye, Rose, Derek. I want these people and I want these grades with them. So again, function write data, and what it does is, so this function what is doing for you, we are creating a variable, okay, variable to be written, and we are planning to write this data, and this data we are trying to write it in the sheet. So I'll just go over here and I'll say get range and then set values. So I'll take a range maybe from A7, okay. So I'll go for A7 until so 6 value is shifting, I think till C12. Once I try to save this code and I try to run this, execution started, execution completed, and okay, as you see, okay, sheet 1 A7. All right, I'll try to run this function. I'll try to run it. Execution started, execution completed, and as you see, we have this place over here, right? Let me just delete it and also remove the column names. We need not write it again. So now you will see that we can even read data, write data however we want it, right? We can do a lot of things, right? Say Chirag and say Rajat, okay. And with this, once I run this code, you'll be able to see that okay, I think I deleted some of the features. That's why it's causing problem. Number of rows in the data does not match the number of rows in the range. Okay, could be. I might have deleted, and that's the reason it's causing it. But again, that's how it's supposed to work. And okay, so cool. I hope this gives you enough understanding of how we can write custom data and things of it. So we have something in the comments coming in, how to copy content of one folder to another, not folder but files inside it. So it depends, Vivek, what programming language you are working with. Suppose if you're working with Python, or if you're working with another languages, there are different libraries that you can use. You can use os dot get directory, os dot walk, os dot list directory. These are some functions which can help you do it. You can also use different other libraries and different programming languages, and just list out these directories, right? Mostly os is the library that you will use to walk through the drives and directories and get things out of it, right? So that's how you do move between the folders and do it, right? Yeah, so you can also do it in the JS. So I'm pretty sure that JS will support some of this functions. You can go into the drive, and in the drive you can also run the script using a for loop. So for spreadsheets in the path, you can then run it in a for loop and get things out of it, right? So what you'll have to do is, the only thing is that you will have to add one layer before this, right? So you will have to create one function by the name of get function by the name of get files, okay, and in this you will have to pass the path, okay. It will take one input over here, right? So for a file in path, you will use certain library to do it. You will just simply create one variable over here, variable uh, files, and it will be an empty list for now. And you will just go here and then files dot add or append, something like that you will use, and you will add the file over here, right? And then in the end you will just return this files back, okay. So by calling this function, you will be able to get all the files which are there in a folder, and then for each file you will be able to run read data from this file, and then from each file you will be able to run whatever function do you want to do. So it is completely a programming question that you ask, and the solution is completely based. If you know the programming, you can read files, you can do whatever you want to it, right? So unfortunately, no, I cannot show it for now because I do not have expertise with JavaScript. So I'll rest that thing to that. You can just go ahead and try to see how JavaScript code works and how you can read the things from it, right? So that's the point. But I think the only thing that will change, I can be pretty sure, and I can guarantee you, is that only thing is that how do you read the path? You just have to change it, and it will work 100%. This code block should work for it, right? And that's the way you will do it. So this will definitely help you, and this is the only thing that you should know, that you create a function, you create variables, and use a for loop and append the different paths, and then use those paths and pass it in the spreadsheet dot get active and pass that URL from where do you want to get the sheet, right? That's the only modification that will be needed, and this function is more than good to run with it. All right. So with this, again, I'll just quickly recap that we covered how to import data from different places. We covered what are security measures, what does it mean to be a commenter, what it means to be a viewer, and what does it mean to be this. Yeah, yes, Vivek, you're right. Path should be the drive URL. That's correct. Okay. So apart from that, we also looked into different places like we how to import data from Google Form, how to set permissions, how to make sure that we are giving the correct permission to correct people. We also saw how Google App Scripts works, how we can write different scripts and bring more into Google Sheets than a normal person can. We saw some advanced features and functions. We saw something like array formula, which is really great enough if we want to do things related to different columns and row summing, right? It really helps with that. So apart from that, if anyone has more doubts, quickly throw in. We will be more than happy to help it. Let us check if there are any doubts coming in. So, all right. Now, also, by the way, I'll just like to quickly add in, students, that we have Looker Studio Bootcamp coming in. These bootcamps are free of cost, and you just have to enroll and make sure that you learn these technologies. So the way you were able to learn Excel quickly in this 3 days bootcamp, and you have enough to practice on, you have all the resources that you need. Similarly, Looker Studio Bootcamp is all up. Starting from tomorrow, make sure that you go ahead, watch those videos, subscribe to our channel, because that is something that will pay off for us, right? We are only expecting to grow the community, give back to the community. So make sure that you subscribe, like it, and share it with all the people who are interested and could benefit from these sessions, right? So thank you so much, people, for having me. I'll see you all in the next series whenever we go live. Make sure you go and enroll yourself for the next boot camp. Thank you. Bye bye. Tata. Good night.